Hey guys, and welcome back to my page. First off, thank you for watching this video. Anybody who's new, my name is Emma Troop. I am a holistic nutritionist and a personal trainer, wellness blogger, lifestyle blogger, all that fancy jazz. I go by Miss Emma Troop on Instagram, so give me a follow, like this video, subscribe to my page. It would definitely help widen the audience of my page. So, I'm sure you already know what you're probably thinking when you saw the title of this video. Like, really, another booty building YouTube video? But yes, I really want to give my advice and my breakdown on this video. I'm sure if you saw in the cover photo of this video, my transformation is quite, it's a good transformation, I'm going to say. Yes, it is. I've put in a lot of hard work over the last few years. I really felt like back then, in this photo here, I felt like I really honestly was a stick. I had no curve, I had no definition. I felt like I was never ever going to get to that point, but now I feel like I have definitely been able to put on some noticeable muscle mass. But it hasn't come easy, you know, throughout the trainings and the certifications and my own training that I've done throughout the last few years, and being friends with trainers and stuff, I felt like I've really learned what works best and kind of what doesn't. And you know that too. You know what works best and what doesn't. You know that feeling when you're coming out of a workout. You know you're going to be sore the next day. You wake up, your glutes are like that pinching sore. Like, that's my favorite feeling. You know you worked hard. And other days maybe you really worked hard too. Maybe you're just not as sore. Maybe not sore at all. But just don't fret. You know, a workout is still a workout. You are still working your body. You're working your cardiovascular system. You're working your muscles, your nervous system, your brain. Everything is moving, so be proud of yourself still. Just because you aren't coming out super sore to your workout doesn't mean it hasn't been effective. Gonna be lots of talking. So basically this is just my little herbal tea. It's actually 49 organic herbs in this tea little pouch here. I have the Bulletproof Brain Octane, the MCT oil, which is great. If you guys haven't heard about that, MCT oil, medium chain triglyceride, definitely check that out, do some research on it. It's really cool. I'll probably do a blog post about it too. Speaking about blog posts, I have two blog posts linked to the description box here. One is about booty building, one is about building muscle with a small body frame. Like I clearly had in that picture a few years ago. Basically a little bit more in depth about this video, a little bit more detail. You can totally screenshot some of the text for your own phone. You can just kind of read it while you're working out, reading it while you're going to bed, so you know what you're going to be doing the next day. I'm also going to be having 5 of my favorite booty building exercises featured in this video, with a voiceover of myself, just going in description, in depth of the exercises, rather than talking about them here against the wall with no movement happening. What's in my blog post, basically, just a quick little breakdown of rest, training, and nutrition, right? So first off, I want to go into rest and stretching. Resting, it's 100% essential for your muscles. When you're working out, you're literally making micro tears in your muscle. And think about it, if your muscle's teared, you're not resting long enough, those tears are not having enough time to repair themselves to be able to grow. Resting is essential for, honestly, growing the muscle. 8 hours is ideal for the night, fully lets the muscle recover while you're sleeping. If you've had a killer workout and you find you really worked your glutes hard, and you're really sore and like achy the next day, you're probably needing a full 24 hours, maybe even longer than that, of rest. Overtraining can obviously stunt your muscle growth, so you don't want to overtrain your muscles. You want to rest. I train about my glutes at least 3 times a week, maybe 4 if I'm really pushing it, but 3 times I find is just enough time to train the muscle and rest the muscle. So try it out. Try 3 days of training your glutes, maybe 2 days upper body, 1 day upper body. That's kind of my thing right now. And just add anything else you'd like to after that. But unless you're, if your goal is to be growing glutes, growing a booty, noticeable muscle mass, you're going to need to be training them, 3 to 4 times a week. Just once a week isn't going to really be doing it. Stretching. Going into deep stretching before you're going to bed, really releasing that muscle tension while you're sleeping. It's going to help your muscles not tighten up and cramp up while you're sleeping, and while you're waking up, you're going to feel a little bit more loose, a little bit more loosey-goosey. And so maybe you'll actually have a little bit more strength and have a little bit more mobility to be able to go into your next workout. I always stretch for at least 5 to 10 minutes before I go into a glute workout. Stretching and mobility is going to be really important before you're going to be going into a leg or glute workout. I probably spend 5 to 10 minutes before, rather than going on the treadmill. That's kind of what I'll use as my warm-up, is really just kind of getting that blood flow moving down there, opening up my hips, opening up those glutes, and really just opening up that area, so you have, when you're going into your squats and exercises like that, you have more range of motion and more mobility in your hips and legs to be able to perform the exercises, and you're going to be getting more out of your muscle that way. So rest and stretching for sure. Always take advantage of that. Take advantage of your rest day especially, and take advantage of stretching before your exercises and before you're going to sleep. Okay, and nutrition as well. Obviously, people know you gotta feed the muscle to grow the muscle. If you're going on a limited calorie or limiting certain macronutrients, you're probably not going to be gaining the muscle that you're really wanting to. Your body needs all macronutrients to be in synergy to be able to just build and work properly. Speaking of that, that before picture that I have, that was me before I was a holistic nutritionist, before I got into a plant-based diet, and this is me now. On a plant-based diet. If you've watched any of my previous YouTube videos, you know that I, have pushed plant-based. I do probably eat meat about once or twice, once a day. Probably wouldn't push it as twice a day, or maybe once every other day, but just hasn't agreed with my body. It can be difficult to always be eating plant-based and be getting enough calories. So that's one thing. I think I may do a little YouTube video about that, about, being not plant-based and being plant-based. I'm not vegan, but just that difference between, going through a fitness journey and building muscle and achieving your goals. Comment if you'd like to be able to see that, just a little video about, plant-based versus non-plant-based. So that'd be a good comment for you guys to leave. If you want to hear any more information about stretching, resting, and nutrition, please just click that link below, go to my blog post, check it out, go a lot more in detail about these kind of 3 topics and why they're so important, and kind of what are the best ways to be hitting all those goals, to be hitting your main goal, which is building a booty. Okay, and so now I'm going to be adding 5 of my favorite booty building exercises that I have works for me, that I know that work, that activate and engage the glutes to the best ability, that you should be incorporating into your workouts, if not all the time, at least every other workout. And I'm also going to be doing a little voiceover about how I perform the exercises, maybe how I'm performing them a little differently than you, and why you should be performing them this way, and why they're better to be performed the way that I'm going to be showing you in the video.
I'm also going to give you guys a breakdown of the glute muscle. Basically, it's made up of 3 different parts: the maximus, the medius, and the minimus. The minimus is actually slightly hidden underneath the medius and the maximus, which means it's going to be a little bit harder to target and engage. It's important to hit all 3 of these muscle groups while you're training to get the most out of your glute, to get the most glute gains, and get the most growth you possibly can. Okay, and I'm sure you've seen this exercise all over social media, but it really does work. It's almost like a walking hip abductor, and the abductor is mainly working your glute and your hip muscles. So what I call this is the walking semi-squat. You don't want to be in a full squat position. You want to keep some of the tension slightly off your quads. If you're going to be lower, you're going to be putting more tension and weight into your quads. So you want to stay in a semi-squat, keeping that tension on the glute, weight in your heels, chest back, and I'll usually go for 12 to 15 reps on one leg and back on the other, rather than staying in one position and just stepping side to side. I like getting more range of motion there, but either way you perform this exercise, you're going to be firing up the glutes. Perfect way to do it before your workout. Okay, now I know squats aren't the best exercise to perform when you're wanting to grow your glutes, since they're considered a compound muscle movement, which means they're using several muscle groups in the one exercise, not only your glutes. But when you perform the exercise this way, slowly controlled with a hold at the bottom, you are going to engage your glutes like you never have before. Now you're coming down for 3, 2, 1, holding 3, 2, 1, coming up and squeezing the glutes with that ugly squeeze, ladies. Now here, honestly, I want you to picture your butt muscle fibers expanding and tightening and contracting. Especially here, picture them firing up, expanding, and really being the powerhouse of your squat. The band helps with the resistance, but really it's the slow controlled contraction of the rep that's really going to make the difference in your. You don't need to be using the band to get the exact same results. It's honestly all about the way you are engaging your mind to your muscle and how well you are slowly controlling the time your muscle is under tension. Okay, in the hip thrust, this is my favorite exercise to perform before and during a workout to really activate and engage the glutes. I'm sure you guys already know how much this burns. The added band just helps with extra resistance and tension on the glute. You can already see my hamstring and my glute really firing up there, but it's mainly targeting the glute, this exercise, which is excellent. And I like doing it without the weight sometimes and with the weight, which I will show in the next clip, just to give a different variation of the muscle and to engage the muscle and just hit it in a different way. Okay, and so another hip thrust here with the barbell. I'd obviously be using something a little heavier, but I was completely gassed after my workout and there was no way I was using anything heavier. But one of the best exercises to engage the glute muscle and grow the glute muscle without necessarily growing any of the muscles around. I usually go for 10 to 15 reps. You don't want to be overextending here. You just want to be engaging and squeezing the glute. I like to add this little variation afterwards, about 10 to 12 reps of little short pulses, just to really give a short tension on the muscle, and you're gonna cry, guys, I swear. Okay, and so cable pull-throughs, this is another one of my favorite exercises. Probably use this exercise at least, like probably every other workout or so, or at least once a week. It's a great way to fire up and engage the glutes. You can see that squeeze there and the stretch that you get here. I absolutely love it. It's almost like a standing hip thrust and a deadlift as well. So I love doing this one. I usually will pair it or superset it with an isolated single leg exercise, like the single leg hip thrust, or maybe reverse lunges or a single leg press. Perfect way to hit up the glute.
Okay, and if you guys liked this video, I hope you did. Give it a little thumbs up. Maybe leave a couple comments about what you would like to see in the future for some upcoming videos. I have an idea. I'm actually going to be filming another one today. I'm going to leave it as a surprise though, so hopefully it's going to be up within the next week or so. Have a great day, guys. If you have any comments about any of these exercises or anything that's in my blog, please just leave a comment and I will get back to you. And have a great day. See ya.